We are back in. It's a Taco Tuesday edition of Danny and Cello. Marcello Romano right here. I am Danny Williams. DC Chavi, our guy producing the product behind the screen here. You can't really see him. But he's there, I promise
he's
you.
there, man.
We can't do this without him. And we appreciate you guys being with us. Another edition of the show. A lot to talk about. Another successful preseason game in the books. Cello, they looked great again. Went in there, Cook took care of business. We expected that from the way that Sean was talking after some of the things he was saying he was unhappy about in the first preseason game. No starters, Cardinals too, but they go in there and look great. And through two preseason games, the Broncos are looking like they're checking all the boxes, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's depth. You're going to have that if you want to be considered one of the top teams in the league, right?
Yeah.
And they've proven that through the first two preseason games.
Okay.
So that's one of the boxes that you have checked. And there's not many that people around here aren't checking right now. Everything right now is sunshine and rainbows. Is there anything to be critical of after? And I know people were highly critical after preseason game 1.
Yeah.
But after that, it's been like, wow, this is exactly what we want.
Each show takes a life of its own a little bit. And when they go, sometimes we plan on going this way and we cut back like Barry Sanders. We cut back in another direction like Terrell Davis. So the theme of the show today is going to be best case, worst case outcomes or situations for the 2025 Denver Broncos, okay? Because you and I have been here for our entire lives. We've been through the 80s, our family members, those highs and lows of just always kind of getting there but falling short, feeling like it's never going to happen. And then we're in high school when the Broncos are out there at the apex. The greatest team, maybe one of the greatest teams in NFL, one of the greatest teams in NFL history, not maybe. The Terrell Davis, look at all the Hall of Famers now in those teams,
Oh, I put the 98 Broncos up against anyone.
I agree with you. So there's that to kind of think about and consider through the Peyton Manning era. It leaves us here through what's been the last 10 years of what was a lowest point in the franchise's history, to like the early 1970s and 60s. It had been that long or that good of a run for the Broncos. So it gets me to kind of think, and I know you're concerned, is this a little bit too much too soon a while back? But since then, it's like the Broncos have taken kind of the national media now by storm, not just local media, Cello. And it's feeling like for the first time that the Broncos are now the most overhyped team in the NFL. Are the Broncos now not, or do you know what? Overhyped is strong. Are they the most hyped team in the NFL before we call them overhyped?
Well, what would you mean by overhyped? Like they got there before they've earned it? Or
I think the projection from people nationally saying who and what this team has now become before they've really done anything or won a playoff game.
Let's rank it real quick nationally. Who are the teams that everyone's talking about nationally?
The teams that everybody's talking about nationally. I think the Commanders a little bit are getting some love.
I would put them lower.
Okay, I think the Broncos are getting a lot of that chatter. I think the Bills are getting a lot of love. I think that the Ravens, it's like the usual suspects, but it's the Broncos. It's the Broncos in the new class.
Yeah, so I would say Chiefs, Chavi's Eagles.
Yeah,
they're and maybe the Lions. I know you're probably a little less on them.
Yeah, but those are perennial contenders.
No, I know, but the other team being mentioned with them is your own Denver Broncos. So that's a valid question that you're asking me. Are they hyped properly? Are they overhyped? Are they overrated? Are they underrated?
Yeah.
I just think you said I was concerned. I'm not really concerned. I just think it's strange going into a season with a second-year quarterback. And I know we've added weapons around him and the defense has gotten stronger. There's not a lot of question marks around this team. So are we missing something or is this right on? And maybe other than the offensive line, if you're a good hitter, why don't you hit good? What other questions are being asked?
I think, Cello, we've loved before. We've given our hearts to the Broncos, and we know what it looks like and feels like and smells like and tastes like. And Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning. And John Elway took literally a decade and a half to kind of reach what, was the epicenter of his career and legitimize the entire Broncos franchise as like a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels like this has happened so quick for the Broncos. It feels like it's just been almost an overnight success, and I'm just kind of weary. I'm a little bit weary still. So if we're
you're concerned.
I am concerned.
I'm not concerned.
Let's continue to go down this road because there's
we always get into this. Like, most teams have to go through something to earn that championship.
Well, that's
medal,
playoff
right?
highs and lows. That's the playoff highs and lows. That's getting there. That's winning the division. That's getting there, and then that's sniff an AFC Championship game. Usually getting to an AFC Championship game and falling short until you get to again like.
Listen, man, I don't care if they jump.
Doesn't that seem far away?
I don't care if they jump all those steps. I'd love for that to happen.
But what?
But to your point, it's like there's something seems off. We're doing the math in our heads, and we're like, wait a minute, how did we get to the answer? Like if you used a calculator in high school and they were like, no calculators, but you got the right answer.
Yeah.
And people would be like, hey, how'd you get that? Well,
and then sometimes
the Broncos have the calculator right now, and they're going to be graded starting on September 7th. And I'm just hoping that they got a cool TA or something, man. Like they can jump those steps.
Chavi, sometimes Chilla and I would be in class and I would show the calculator and I'd turn it upside down. And they would say boobs. Whatever. Okay, so, Cello, let's continue to go down this road, and then we'll come back and maybe end the show on a high note. But let's dig deeper into this fear of things that could go wrong for the Broncos this season. Is there any chance, and you kind of, again, you said something that made me feel like the foundation is like it's been laid down. When you see, I've used this analogy before, like a restaurant, like an old part of town, and you're like, hey, man, that's like an old school Taco Bell, but now it's a Chinese dollar scoop restaurant or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay? And it works for the Chinese dollar scoop restaurant. But when Starbucks or someone wants to come in, they're going to tear that thing down to the dirt and build it back up, okay? So I think with Russ and with Keenum and with Flacco, those guys, it felt like a failed business. They're now trying to open and make something out of a place that just isn't built for success, street traffic or whatever it is. Could they, in just this small amount of time, Cello, have built something so true that it's like really they are at a bare minimum a playoff team? Are the Broncos now a bare minimum 10-win team? Or, Cello, could this thing kind of not be as good as it was last year? Were they living a lie last year? And could they be a 7 or 8 win team this year? Ooh.
I hate that you said that.
Well,
answer the question. Your
what's
question.
the question?
What's the question is what's the floor? And then what's the ceiling? Your floor would be what? All right, so let me ask you this, and we don't have to go game by game.
Okay.
But off the top of your head, you have the Broncos going what this season?
10-7.
10-7 again. So identical records as last year.
Yeah.
So what's going to make them go 10-7? Just a more difficult schedule?
What's going to make them go 10-7?
Yeah,
you mean the same?
Well, this team should be better, right? We're talking about a team that had a huge offseason. We're also talking about a team that Sean Payton a couple weeks ago came out and said.
So how do they go 10-7?
Yeah, that would be kind of
really just running it back, being a little bit stronger in each facet. And then you add a running game that's not going to be an overnight success. We just hope it to be like adequate. Legitimate is even strong. Adequate, good enough. Okay? Because that's just not going to happen overnight. Good enough. And then you saw what Ingram can do finally. In the preseason game.
Yeah.
I don't know why he was playing in the game, okay? But he made a heck of a play, and it made everyone feel like, whoa, I didn't know that position offered that, big chunks of yards like that.
So that's your number. I'm probably around 10-7.
Oh, no,
11
my
and
floor is 8 or wins. Or 7 or 8 wins.
I asked just for your number. I didn't ask.
Yeah, my number's 10. My number's 10. I think they build upon what they did last year. That doesn't translate, though, necessarily to 11 wins.
And losses.
Yeah.
Okay.
But do you know what
has the ceiling?
Well, I think 12 wins and 12 wins if everything goes right.
You can't even get it out.
You're right. 11 wins.
This is the hypothetical.
I can't.
I'm
you're right,
asking you.
Cello.
It's a ceiling.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's a ceiling, and you can't even say.
Do you know what the truth is? Really, honestly, 11 wins and a playoff win.
That's the ceiling?
I think that's the ceiling. That's the ceiling.
Buzz, your girlfriend.
What are you talking about?
Woof.
11 wins and a playoff win?
You're saying that's the
beating
ceiling.
the Bengals or
I don't
somebody
think you're
like
understanding your own question. Ceiling means like that's the highest they could get?
Yes.
Wow.
They're not going to the Super Bowl.
I didn't say that.
And I don't think they're going to the AFC Championship game. And if
so
you want to make a case otherwise,
you're talking about a wild card victory. And then you lose in the divisional round.
Yeah, they're the first, again, they'd be like the 5th seed playing the 4th seed, something like that. And at that point, you win that game, and then you lose some kind of thriller in the divisional round to Lamar or to the Bills, which then tells you, like, okay, we're here. We've kind of arrived. We've taken a proven to have taken another big leap and big step forward, and now we know we can compete. We could beat a Burrow on the way to competing with the Josh Allen. That's knocking on the door, dude. Then we have what?
You said if I'm going to say something different, you're going to challenge me on it?
No, I'm saying if you believe they can go to the Super Bowl, then I want to hear you challenge me on it, is what I meant by it.
I just basically did. This was a hypothetical, right?
Okay, but hypothetical and like true ceiling of what you're really feeling are
AFC
two separate
championship
things.
Game.
Okay, that's your max.
That's my ceiling.
That's your ceiling.
Yeah. That's my ceiling.
So they can just go second-year quarterback.
Dude, this is
jump
like
all these other guys win,
Well, I guess I'm misunderstanding the exercise. Like this is like if everything kind of falls the way they need it to, there's no major injuries. Maybe Josh runs into Pat Mahomes earlier. Maybe Lamar does again too. One of them gets eliminated sooner than the Broncos need to face one of them. I don't know that the Bengals are going to get there.
Yeah, but even still, then, Cello, to your point, AFC Championship game appearance, there's only 2 AFC teams left. That means Burrow's gone, Allen's gone, Mahomes is gone.
I don't know why this is so far-fetched if we're going ceiling.
I can't
Patrick Mahomes went, second year?
Wait.
To the Super Bowl, right?
Mahomes?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's Patrick Mahomes and a Chiefs team that's in the middle of a dynasty, or the end of a dynasty. We hope we did that last week.
So you think everything that Sean Payton's saying about like Bo Nix being a top 4 or 5
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
I think it's way too strong. It makes me very uncomfortable, and I wish he wouldn't do it.
All right.
No, I'm being serious. It's like
Sean,
the expectations for the team should be meeting the level of what the premier AFC teams are doing, which how long did it take all of those teams besides Patrick Mahomes, who's already one of the 5 or 6 greatest quarterbacks in
Burrow
NFL
got
history.
there early. Was that his second year?
Burrow, yes, got there in the second year, but then he hasn't been the same since. You could say that's a one-off, Cello. And do you know what? Watch this, Cello. Let's keep going down this road here. Okay, let's go down this road.
Hang on, let me ask you.
Okay.
Burrow's better, right? You would say Burrow better than Nix.
Not even close. Heartbeat. No,
Roethlisberger.
Over Nix?
Who's better?
Oh, Roethlisberger. I have a Hall of Fame career to go base that off of. So Roethlisberger. If you're saying, can I have Bo Nix have the same career that Roethlisberger had a chance to have? Yeah, sign me up for that. I will take that. I will take that to the bank.
I'm just saying,
give me a Roethlisberger career. Give me a Russ Wilson career for Bo Nix, and I would take that too.
The exercise that we're talking about is ceiling, meaning everything's going to go your way, and your defense actually plays out and becomes one of the best defenses of all time.
So, Cello, you're giving Roethlisberger and you're giving Russell Wilson as comps to why this could work for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos this season, and having a chance to really go to what you said, an AFC Championship game, maybe even a Super Bowl. I'm going to push back on that. Okay, I'm going to push back on that and say, you mentioned Joe Burrow earlier. Yeah, in the second year, they make a beautiful run through Arrowhead to a Super Bowl, but they haven't been close to the same thing since, and might be getting further away from it, especially if they don't re-sign Hendrickson, right? So
I don't know that he can even help
Are
them.
the Broncos closer to that, or closer to a one-off 10-win season like Mac Jones, or like, give me another
no, that's why
Baker Mayfield and the Browns, and then you win 10 games. And
that's why I'm saying Roethlisberger. he didn't like wow people offensively early in his career.
Yeah, but we know Roethlisberger and Russ Wilson are going to the Hall of Fame. They're probably going to the Hall of Fame.
But when they won those Super Bowls early in their career, what was the
defense and the team as a whole were special. But we didn't realize it then. We realize it now. Those guys are Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
No, I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but I'm saying what was the leader of those teams that got them
the team as the whole, the head coach and the defense. But are you projecting Bo Nix to be a Hall of Fame style type of quarterback?
I don't know. Well, by the looks of him, it's early. It's super early, but looks like he has all the things you want from a guy.
Okay. So,
I mean, I'm not going to go out there and be like, dude, this is it's going to happen, and he's going to have multiple Super Bowl championships. I'm just saying, if this team is as good as everyone's projecting, as good as they believe, and you didn't have a lot last year, you got to 10 wins. And I know you can bring up the argument you didn't beat anyone like with a winning record, all that
1-8,
all that different
1-8 against winners.
I get it. But to be honest with you, after that first month of the season from Bo Nix, and it was like you were like, "Hey, do we have receipts? Can we return this?" That type of deal. To the numbers that he ended up putting up with nothing, not a huge semblance of like any weaponry behind him, dude. Like, I don't know what else you want more out of a guy in his first year.
I just think that there's a lot of teams better than the Broncos still.
Who?
Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Bengals. At the certain, I'm certain of that. Then you have the Texans.
Time out.
Yeah.
Xavi, didn't he say the Chiefs were Katy Perry? Bruno Mars.
I said there's a chance.
Lost their
that
fastball.
Was a show built off
their fastball.
No, that was a show built off of hypotheticals. And the question of the show, the theme of the show was, how do the Broncos win the AFC West? And that was a way the Broncos could win the AFC West. Do I believe that?
I just wanted clarity.
Well, now you're bringing up old stuff. And no, okay, so
you said Chiefs are better?
Yeah, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Bengals. That's 4.
Ooh.
I think the Texans are at their equal. The Broncos equal right now. One team will probably surpass the other by who goes further in the playoffs this season, who has more successful season. At that point, I think the Broncos are 6, and you can argue they're 5 in the AFC as a whole. So to get to an AFC championship game, again, you have to have, like you said, 2 of those dogs, like the Bills and the Ravens, almost be a 4-5 seed or 3-6 or a 3-6 seed. That could happen.
Well, and this goes to Sean Payton's point a week ago where he said, we can't start off slow. We want week 16 and 17 to be meaning something. And if you dig yourself a hole and you drop one of these first 2 games, or you lose an unexpected game that you shouldn't, that we had projected as a win, then you can't get there.
Cello, other than an injury, a major injury, okay, how do the Broncos win just 7 or 8 games this season to you? What happens under that situation?
To win just 7 or 8?
If they were just a 7 or 8 game winner, what would have went wrong?
Oh, we overvalued something along the way.
And what is that? What could that be? Let's keep digging. Go.
Listen,
keep going.
And I've told you this before. My biggest concern is that I know he didn't have a running game last year, and you would have assumed a rookie quarterback that would have been a focal point last year, right?
Yeah.
They didn't run the ball for nothing, Danny. And they have, on paper, a pretty legit offensive line. Would you agree?
One of the best in the league.
And in pass protection, no issues, no concerns whatsoever.
Yeah.
But if you have that, and that's why I keep saying the line, if you're a good hitter, why don't you hit good? Like, if you have that ability,
so you're
whether
saying...
you had a running back that could break it, 20-plus yards is one thing. But you didn't have any of that. Like, listen, look at Xavi's Eagles. Saquon Barkley's amazing, but that offensive line is legit.
So,
dude.
Cello, are you saying that the offensive line for the Denver Broncos is the reason that they are now a 10-win team, maybe perennially? And maybe the reason why we look back at last year is like, was this fool's gold? How did they, after the start, Bo Nix, I can't remember, lots of 4-touchdown games. How did they get to 10 wins and 29 touchdowns for Bo Nix? Were they living a lie? Was it fool's gold? Or, Cello, did we just answer the question of the show by saying it's the offensive line, the trenches, what Harbaugh says is the tip of the spear is the offensive line. Is that what makes this Denver Broncos team, not just the offense, team, a 10-win team special and maybe a chance to do something special?
Yes, and they have to perform.
Why is it so hard for us to figure that out?
Wow, dude, if I knew the answer to that question, but I wouldn't be hanging out here with you. I mean, on paper,
where would we be at? Great Wolf Lodge or something?
Probably something like
That'd be
that.
sweet.
Dave and Buster's, just having fun playing arcades.
Yeah.
But listen, on paper, it's a legitimate offensive line. Now you just need to see it come to fruition. Now, a lot of that blame was shunned on the running back room last year, right?
Yeah.
It was, we don't have anybody in the backfield that can do anything. Well, now the rubber meets the road. You brought in J.K. Dobbins. R.J. Harvey looks like he's going to be fine. You've had good performances out of the running back room in training camp. So if it doesn't happen this year, that could be the thing that doesn't allow them to make that run.
Do you know what makes me a little bit scared that you said that? Because if Dobbins has success, it's going to be the same type of success he had last year. Early season success when his body is the most healthy, and he will fade off until where he can't contribute anymore at some point. That's the MO. That's the makeup on Dobbins, right? And Harvey, I mean, again, you run into that rookie wall. 17 games and playoff games. How successful can Harvey be, especially at that point of the season? Those games you were talking about where Sean says, let's make those games meaningful games. Let's make those games wins for playoff home games.
So you're more concerned about that? No. Listen, I think what you're saying is valid. We've never seen J.K. Dobbins, I don't think, get through an entire NFL season. So by the time maybe he starts to get worn down.
What I'm saying based off what you're saying was if they go to the playoffs and they win playoff games, you have to have a run game. Like you have to have a functional run game, weaponry. I don't know if they have that this season. I think this is just the season where they're trying to put that together. They're going to lean on Bo's legs, Bo's arm, tight end, short pass running game, extension of the run game kind of thing, rather than run the ball a lot effectively or even choose to run the ball at all, especially when they can't run the ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, kind of. Say it again. No, I'm kidding. I think you have to, dude. The guy wrote it on his play calling sheet last year, and it still didn't make a difference. So it's going to be. Listen, there's things that he's comfortable calling. There's things that Bo Nix is comfortable doing. But to your point, and I believe there was a resurgence in the running back position last year in the NFL with some of the big years that were had. And I'm not saying that the Broncos have that type of back to be put in the same conversation as some of those elite backs in the league. But you got to be serviceable. You got to be like, where would you put James Cook?
Where I rank him?
Yeah.
Top 7 to 10. Maybe top 5 or 6 or 7.
Wow.
He's up there.
Okay.
He's good.
But a couple years ago, probably just getting there, you need to be
he's
like
a second-round pick.
You got
but that's like Harvey and like Kyren.
Exactly.
Kyren Williams from the Rams.
Yeah.
He was a second-round pick too. So, again, special running backs can come from anywhere. Harvey could be special, okay? He has a chance to be very special. But I just saw the dude, Travion Henderson. Is it for the Patriots?
The Ohio State guy?
Oh, my God. He looked great. And we passed on him over Harvey. So there's only so many guys who are going to hit, and we're waiting for Harvey to really kind of still hit.
After some criticism in week 1 of Harvey bouncing it outside, that touchdown was a pretty thing, and it was right up the gut the other night.
Okay, wrap this thing up. But I think one thing that maybe we could kind of say in conclusion here, why, if the Broncos are now baseline, borderline, perennial, double-digit winner, how and why? Offensive line, it's one of the best in the league. Defensive front, very special, very unique group as a whole. I think that's kind of what we want to talk about. I want to pop the top. Randy Moss going, Percy Harvin taking it right over the top. I want, we come from 55 touchdowns to 5,500 yards. Mm-hmm. But if the Broncos are going to continue to ascend, have a bunch of success, and maybe flirt with the AFC Championship game, it's because the offensive line is one of the best in the league, and the defensive line is one of the best in the league, or the defensive front. And they are, so we know that, right?
Going into it, we know that. But wasn't the offensive line supposed to be up there last year,
And
too?
I think they were, Cello. I think they were.
Not as far as running the ball.
Well, no, but in terms of protection.
Oh, yeah. Pass pro, I don't have any questions about.
Yeah.
It's where are you going to go with this running game? Because I think that could be the thing that gets them to that next level.
Okay. That's the show.
That's it.
that's the whole show. We appreciate you guys big time. DC Daniel Chavez produces the product for us. Like and subscribe, hit those likes and comment. People are commenting on the shows. We love that big time. Support the show. We're evolving. We're new and fresh. Hot show. For Marcello Romano, for DC, I am Danny Williams. We appreciate you guys and we love you guys. Good night, Sheila.
Yeah, whatever, Alan. Go inside.